Around the World in 80 Days. In 1822, in the city of London, many prominent gentlemen gathered at the Reform Club. One of these gentlemen was Phileas Fogg. Fogg was a handsome man with a silver beard. His only daily activity was reading newspapers and playing a card game called whist. He employed a second butler. The only requirement of Fogg's butler was perfect promptness and regularity in his work. He was shown Passepartout. After having his meal and reading several newspapers, Phileas Fogg met his usual whist partner. They discussed the robbery of the Bank of England, in which 55,000 pounds was stolen. Detectives have been sent all over the world to find the man. The whist partner argued over whether the robber will be caught. Fogg replied, "The world is no longer so big, since advance in transportation make one able to get about quickly." The club member wagered 20,000 pounds with Fogg that he cannot get around the world in 80 days. Back at home, Fogg instructed his butler pack the bag and put in a ladle of money that was enough to take them anywhere. Then they took a taxi to the train station. Mr. Figg had been sent to Suez to hunt for the thief. When the Mongolian came into the port, Figg searched their friends. Passepartout came up to him to ask where the British consul issued the passport of his mother can get a visa. Figg said it is the passport of Fogg. The picture of Phileas Fogg matched the description of thief exactly. During the voyage, Mr. Figg approached Passepartout again. While meeting, Figg and Passepartout became friends. Figg realized that he would just have to keep following Figg and Passepartout until the warrant arrived. Passepartout decided to look around Bombay. He didn't know Christians couldn't enter Indian temple, or that even Indian temple must remove their shoes before going inside. Suddenly, Passepartout was knocked to the floor. He found himself being beaten by tea and caprice. They shut and tore off his shoes, but Passepartout quickly jumped up and ran out of the pagoda as fast as he could. On 22nd October, the train stopped past Rotos. Passepartout rushed out to find out the reason and come back crying. Monster Fogg, the railway had ended. Passepartout found a way to get to Allahabad. There is an elephant that belongs to an Indian near here. Mr. Fogg offered to buy the animal for 2,000 pounds. It's worth too much money for the man to refuse. Fogg then hired to a local party-man to guide them and the elephant to Allahabad. The elephants became restless as night ahead. The priest parted with a car bearing statue of the goddess Kali, the goddess of love and death. They reached a dark woman with them, who is young and beautiful. Before her is the body of her dead husband, carried to his palace. Her name is Auda. Fogg will save her. When dawn came, the Brahmin lit her wood at the bottom of the fire, and it began to smoke. Then suddenly the Raja stood up. It wasn't the Raja, but later Passepartout in the Raja's clothes. They traveled quickly and escaped. Once on the train to Calcutta, Auda became conscious. With tears, she thanked the man for rescuing her. The trip from Calcutta to Hong Kong would take them 10 to 12 days. The weather on the final day of the voyage became very bad. The boat moved so slowly that it would reach Hong Kong 20 hours behind schedule. But the captain had some good news for them. The Carnatic has a broken boiler and could not leave yesterday. Fogg sent Passepartout to the Carnatic to buy 3 tickets to Yokohama. Inside the ship's office, he learned that the repair to the Carnatic had been completed ahead to schedule. The ship would be leaving that evening in trace of the following morning. Passepartout meets Mr. Figg in front of the Carnatic. Figg invited him to tavern for a drink. Figg told Passepartout he was a police detective and he following Mr. Fogg because Fogg was a robber. Passepartout replied it is nonsense and he never betrayed you, master. Figg put a drug in Passepartout's drink without being ignored and he instantly went to sleep. Next morning, Fogg and Ada traveled to the docks. They met Mr. Figg and learned that the Carnatic had sailed at the night before. Fogg met Captain Barnaby, who had a small fast ship. Meanwhile, Passepartout knew he needed to find a way to make money and get out of Japan. He followed the clown after a short interview, but Winkle decided to use him as a clown. During the performance, Passepartout saw 2 familiar faces in the audience. There were Phileas Fogg and Ada. Passepartout told his master what had happened in Shanghai, but he didn't mention that Mr. Figg had tricked him. He felt that the time was not right for that revelation. Phileas Fogg and the others arrived in America at 7 a.m. 3 days later, and the train passed through the Wyoming Territory. They suddenly heard Savage cry. The train was under attack by White Sioux natives. The conductor said, "Unless the train is stopped in 5 minutes, we are going to catch and die." Passepartout heard this and slipped through the door. He crawled along under the car, holding the chains. They detached the engines from the train car. The car was left behind while the engines sped forward. They were stuck in Fort Kearny, 200 miles from Omaha, and returned to New York. Fogg and his companion went to a man named Matt. Fogg looked at a large metal sled on 2 skis that had to sail. By 8 a.m., the sled was ready and the passengers sat down. They arrived in New York by the steamer. The China had left for Liverpool just 45 minutes before they had arrived. The next morning, Fogg saw a mid-sized ship. It was a perfect steam. A sign that it was ready to leave. They paid the captain 2,000 pounds for each passenger to travel with him to Liverpool. The ship engineer came to speak with Mr. Fogg that the ship had burned up all of its coal and did not have enough to reach Liverpool. So, Fogg saw the ship from engineer and stripped every bit of wood from the cabin and the deck to burn for fuel. When they arrived at Liverpool, Fogg was put in prison by Mr. Figg. Then Figg entered and told that the robber was arrested 3 days ago. Phileas Fogg was a free man. Fogg ordered a special train to leave at London. It was 10 minutes to 9 when they stepped off the train in London. Fogg got to speak to Ada. He apologized for bringing her to England. He had planned to giving her money, and now what a little he had, he gave to her, as he need nothing. He mentioned that he has no friends, but Ada declared she is not only his friend. He proposed that they got married. Fogg told Passepartout to go get the Reverend Samuel Winston to marry them on tomorrow, Monday. Passepartout hurried off as fast as he could. He rushed into Fogg's house and gasped, "The marriage cannot happen tomorrow because it will be Sunday." Passepartout informed them that today is Saturday. Fogg jumped into a cab and rushed to the club. He has gone around the world in 80 days and won the bet. How could he have miscalculated time? He has actually arrived on Friday, the 20th, because he has gained a day traveling eastward. just as he would have lost a day going west. Folk married Auda with Papatu giving the bride away. Papatu the next day knocked on his mother's door with the news that he has found out they could have gone around the world in 78 days. Folk saying he know, but only if they had not gone to India, and then he would not have found Auda.